So it's 7:55 a.m. Donald Trump sends out a tweet. I'm considering a veto of the omnibus spending bill based on the fact that 800,000 plus DACA recipients have been totally abandoned by the Democrats, not even mentioned in the bill, and that the border wall, which is desperately needed for our national defense, is not fully funded. Mere hours after that, he signs the omnibus spending bill. What changed? This is seriously concerning to me, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, the omnibus spending bill was $1.3 trillion. All right? $1.3 trillion. Now, remember, we are over $20 trillion in debt. So we are going to be spending an additional $1.3 trillion. We are on record to be at $30 trillion by 2030, which is completely staggering. At some point, we're not going to be able to sustain the debt anymore. Once it keeps ballooning and becoming more and more and more massive, we're not going to be able to contain it at some point. But, I guess our government doesn't really care. Let's just continue spending. Let's just keep pushing it down the line onto future generations, hoping that the next generation will just be the one that has to deal with it, right? Right now, it's on my generation. We're going to be the ones that have to deal with it. Now, if by some majestic, feat of accomplishment, we aren't the ones that have to deal with it, the next generation will. We're beyond the point of paying it off, right? It's going to breach 30 trillion. It's spiraling and it's growing astronomically, especially with spending bills like this being signed by or being voted on by Congress and then signed by the president. But he signed the bill. All right. Now, like he said, it doesn't provide border wall funding. We are not going to get a wall by 2020. We are not going to get a wall. Trump may have just lost the election. His biggest campaign promise, which was the wall, he is not going to be following through with. Now, look, I am a Donald Trump supporter, all right? I voted for Donald Trump because I voted for him based on what he was saying in the election, right? I liked where he was going. I liked his stance on the illegal immigrants. I liked his stance on spending. He wanted to get this country back on track. I liked his stance on illegal immigrants. I already talked about that. I like his stance on the wall. I liked his stance on I was going to crack down on the drugs, and because we have a huge drug problem in this country. I liked his stance on that. I liked his stance on the Iran nuke deal. I liked his stance on China's currency manipulation and how he's going to fight back against that. I liked his stance on the trade deals, which, to his credit, he is trying to fight back against. But on immigration, he's completely flip-flopped. And this spending bill is absolutely insane. Nobody's read the thing. Rand Paul, right? I think he was 232 pages into it last time I checked. He's the furthest into it of anybody. These people are just signing the bill and voting for the bill without even reading what's in the bill. They're not looking at it. They're not reading it. They're just passing it. They don't understand what's in the bill. But let me read off to you some things that are in the bill. All right? Because this is just, I was reading through this. It's absolutely insane. And these are just a few of the things. You can check it out. Rand Paul tweeted the entire list of things that he's just seen so far that are included in the bill in terms of spending. That's all on his Twitter. I retweeted it at TSF Networks. You can go to my Twitter, check it out if you don't want to scroll through his. So here, $12 million for scholarships in Lebanon. All right. Now, $12 million for scholarships in Lebanon. Let's stop for a second. Our education system in this country sucks, all right? We spend the most per student, and our test scores aren't even near the top. We are not doing a good job in terms of education. Our students are not excelling. Students from other countries are doing a much better job when they get out of school than our students are. So why are we spending money on other countries and students in other countries? Why are we giving $12 million for scholarships in Lebanon? Why are we not investing that $12 million into our education system, to improving our education system? I don't know. Ask your senator. $20 million for Middle East Partnership Initiative Scholarship Program. There we go again. $20 million. Why are we not taking that $32 million now? Because the $12 million for the scholarship in Lebanon and the $20 million for the Middle East Partnership Initiative Program, whatever the hell, scholarship program, $32 million. Why are we not investing that in our education? I don't understand. Again, makes no sense to me. $12 million in military funding for Vietnam. We're still technically at war with Vietnam. The Vietnam War has not officially ended. Why are we sending $12 million in military funding to a country we are still technically at war with? Again, call your senator. This makes no sense. $3.5 million in nutrition assistance to Laos. We've got fat kids running all over the country, the highest obesity rate in the world. But we're going to spend our, money in Laos, okay? 15 million in developmental assistance to China. Why do they need that? Why do they need the developmental assistance? Why can we not be using that money for our developmental assistance? 10 million for women LEOs in Afghanistan. Again, why can we not be using this money in our country? I mean, I don't understand, right? Why we complain about the problems we have in this country, and the Democrats too, they voted for this. This was a bipartisan spending bill. Why the Democrats in this country, right, lecture us about the problems in this country, and then proceed to spend all of our country's money helping other countries. To me, that makes no sense. This whole situation makes no sense. And the fact that Donald Trump came out and said, I am going to veto this, and then turns around and signs it, that makes me even more frustrated. But here's what frustrates me the most about all of this, right? Remember, these are Republicans, establishment Republicans, and Democrats that are voting for this. People who have come out and said that walls don't work. We can't have a wall on our southern border because it won't help stop the drugs from pouring in. It won't help with the illegal immigrants pouring in, raping people, committing crimes. Breaking into the country is a crime in and of itself, so coming into the country illegally is a crime. But forget that. Remember, they said the wall won't work. The bill contains $500 million in funding for a wall in Jordan. $500 million. Now, this is again voted on by the Democrats, voted on by the establishment Republicans, voted on by the same people who said that walls do not work. For some reason, I guess they just don't work in the United States because, hey, if we can spend $500 million to erect a wall in Jordan, let's do it. Let's jump right on that. Now, this wall in Jordan started off in 2008 as security towers with surveillance so that they could make sure people weren't coming in from Iraq, Syria, stuff like that, right? Now, since 2008, it's obviously escalated into a $500 million project. It was in the low millions, I think like 3.5 million, something of that nature. I don't have the exact numbers on me, in 2008. Now it's accumulated to 500 million, and it's for a wall. But walls don't work, remember? That's what we've been hearing. So again, either the Democrats were completely lying about saying that walls don't work, and they were just using that because they didn't want to follow through on the Trump agenda, which apparently isn't even the Trump agenda because he voted to not have a wall. He signed off on the bill. He could have vetoed this bill. I don't understand why he signed off on this bill. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I don't have a good enough reason for why he did it. I'm not saying I don't support Trump, but I just don't understand why he continues to do stuff like this. Why did he sign that bill? $1.3 trillion. That is not very economical. And it's not practical. And it doesn't help his policy at all of erecting the wall, of building a wall on our southern border. No, but Dylan, it does include some security on the border. Yeah, 33 miles of fencing in Texas. Oh, let me just step over the fence and come into the country anyway. I mean, this is absolutely insane. There are people in this country that are being killed from the opioid crisis, from people flooding drugs into the country and killing our citizens. But we're not going to erect a wall on our southern border. Instead, we're going to go over to Jordan and build a wall on their border to protect people in Jordan. I guess citizens in Jordan are more important than citizens in the United States. I guess that's what Congress is telling us right now. Why are we not building the wall? If we can spend $500 million in Jordan, why can't we spend $500 million here? See, that's what strikes me, is that the Democrats and the Republicans, they wanted to act like they couldn't support Trump's wall because it costs too much money. Oh, it's just going to be too much money. It's not economical to build the wall. We're $20 trillion in debt. But meanwhile, we're funding walls in other countries. We're sending money to countries we're still at war with. I mean, it makes no sense to me. It scares me. Right? Because I thought that, once the Republicans took control of Congress, that this situation was going to change. I thought that we weren't going to be passing these massive bills anymore. Spending bills. But I guess I was wrong. I guess the Republicans and the Democrats are exactly the same thing. And this goes back to a video I made a while back When I said we don't live in a two-party system, we live in a one-party system, who are you supposed to vote for? If there's no anti-establishment candidate, if there's no conservative candidate, because every time that there's a conservative like Rand Paul or Ted Cruz that runs for president, they get forced out right off the bat by the establishment. The only reason Donald Trump made it is because he had the people behind him, right? But so it's impossible for them to even get anywhere near it, the conservatives. So, you know, you're stuck with these options. You've got, you know, your Mitt Romneys, you've got your John McCains, you've got your Obamas, you've got your Hillarys. They're the same people. They're the exact same people. They do not differ in policy whatsoever. They may come out and present their policies in a different way and say they support other things, but when it comes down to it, they just passed, the Republicans and the Democrats, but the Republicans have the majority, a $1.3 trillion spending bill. I just wanted to make a video on that, do a little rant, because it's very frustrating. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with me. Tell me where I'm going wrong. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and share. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more. I will catch up with you guys next time. Bye-bye.